Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with all of you this Saturday morning and to be able to share with you the concepts of understanding employer expectations. It's very important for us to do this because in today's world, it's highly competitive. Things are really getting up to high speed. We are finding that more number of graduates are unable to get good jobs. And in such a situation, it's imperative that we are able to understand the consequence of, yes, having a degree, having the qualifications, but what more is needed? What are my employers or my future employers looking for? And to be able to share some of this with you, my name is Mark and I'm working with 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 as a trainer. And I come to you with about 25 years of experience in the hospitality industry, sales and marketing, hardcore operations, quality, and also Six Sigma certified. I held various positions in senior management, etc. before joining 𝗧𝗧 and being able to share some of my knowledge with all of you to be able to help you in your future in getting good jobs. So I hope that this program will provide you some value to be able to ensure that despite having enough qualifications, if we are able to bridge that last gap in understanding what the employer wants from me, we will be able to be more successful in getting good jobs. Quickly to tell you what we at 𝗧𝗧 do is that we do two major things, trainings and we provide placements. And through these trainings, which are basically of three types, which is technical, aptitude and reasoning, and soft skills training, which covers most of the blanket, wherein we are finding that the gap between the academia and the corporate is being bridged by 𝗧𝗧. Because even though our graduates are perhaps graduating in very good marks, they are unable to get good jobs. And this gap is because the corporate world is saying that they require something more. And what is this something more? That's the reason why 𝗧𝗧 comes into the picture. It was set up in the year 2014, and the goal was to improve the employability skills and the employability quotient among all the Telangana graduates. So we operate with a clear three-value proposition. Value for students, because through 𝗧𝗧 trainings and through 𝗧𝗧 placements, if they get good jobs, definitely they will see value in it. If the colleges wherein we provide our trainings with, if the students are getting good jobs because of 𝗧𝗧, they are definitely going to get better admissions in the next year. And also value for the corporate world, because they don't have to go elsewhere and hire people from outstation, but they can definitely choose our local Telangana graduates to fulfill their manpower requirements. So this is the value proposition that we offer. From the soft skills team, apart from all the technical trainings that we offer 21st century transferable skills, which is our flagship program. And through that, we offer all the various kinds of programs or all the soft skills that one would need to have when they're joining any corporate company. We also offer a campus to corporate 2-day training program, which teaches candidates how to perhaps get ready for an interview, how to build a resume, etc., why they need to do it, how to search for their first job, what kind of a first job they would like to look for, what are the things that they need to look for in a company before joining them, and also we teach them how to manage their finances. In 𝗧𝗧, we are clearly forward thinking because we use the 10-30-60 methodology, wherein the trainer, of course, gives a little bit of a download, but then most of the learning is done through interaction, through question and answers, through perhaps a little bit of games and activities, and then also we direct them to encourage them to pursue the self-learning mode, which is found to be very, very interactive. If you want to learn more about 𝗧𝗧, and for those of you who are interested, please log into the website. We also have a 𝗧𝗧 app, which can be downloaded from the Google Play Store for Android users, and you can find out all the various training programs that we give. All the details are available there, and you can, for any further details, you can contact the number listed below, or you can contact your colleges, respective colleges. You will have a 𝗧𝗧 placement officer or your 𝗧𝗧 coordinator, and they'll be happy to guide you and take you forward. On to the main topic, employer expectations. Many of us, just because we get a good graduation degree and we pass out with good marks, we think It's our birthright, and we think that we will get a good job. And in fact, many of our parents, many of people at home, they say, and all they advise us, get good marks and everything will happen very well. You may get a good job. And immediately as soon as you get good marks and graduate from college, people at home are also beginning to search for alliances. They want to get you married because they know or they believe that shortly you will get a good job, and then once you get a good job, marriage comes into the picture and they want to settle everything down fast. But things are changing. And things are changing very fast. In fact, this year, we've seen that even in BITS Pilani, we've seen about 2,000 plus graduates still having to get an offer where normally they would get their offers 1 year before graduation. And this is a worrying trend because with artificial intelligence coming into the picture, things are changing. Jobs are going to be there, but what kind of jobs? Are those jobs some kind of jobs that you and I want to take? Are we prepared to do some other kind of job than what we have studied for? And most of all, there are jobs and there will be jobs. But when we go for those jobs, what is the employer looking for? Because they have much more to choose from this time. They have the cream of the pack, they have the best of the pack, and they have you. Why should they choose you? What do they expect from you? And understanding the expectations is one thing. How do you meet those expectations is another, and how you deal with them. Well, this is one thing that I'm sure all of us look forward to. Joy. And when do you experience this joy? I look back with very fond memories after my graduation. And in fact, I started working a little bit earlier itself because I had to start working from my intermediate onwards. But there was nothing more happier, the feeling that I had when I had got my first offer letter. And I'm sure that it's an experience for each one of us, and nobody would be able to describe it in words. When after studying for 16, sometimes 17 years, and then you land up with your first offer letter. Some of us may get 2 or 3 offer letters at the same time, and that's wonderful. But the immense joy, the immense pleasure, this irrespective of whatever the amount is, irrespective of whatever position it is, when we land up with that first offer letter, each one of us has a proud moment at stake. And that moment cannot be forgotten in a lifetime. And that letter is going to be such a thrill to look forward to. And today's world, I was just telling you, the situation is not like, a few years ago. Things are hotting up. We have graduates, we have engineering graduates, we have best of cream of tech graduates coming up, and by the dozens, by the lakhs, by the millions. Now, how are we, when I say we, how are you and me going to make a difference? In this job market, interviews are negotiations, interviews are discussions, interviews are assessment places, and who is going to make the difference? There is a demand, there is a supply. And in this world, you are going to be your own salesperson. Question is very clear, especially for all tech companies. Normally, there is a separate tech evaluation system before you even get to the interview round. And if you've made it this far to the interview round, we know that perhaps you've done a good job in catering to your technical qualification. But does that mean that just because you are good in your technical skills or your specialized skills that you are going to get the job? Absolutely not. And that's going to make the difference. Remember, if you've come as far as an interview, you are privileged, you are lucky, and you are actually, maybe you've done all the hard work. But what do companies look forward to you from there on? They know that you have the skills, they know that you have the talent, they know that you have the ability. Now, what else are they looking for? Remember, once you join a company, the companies are going to invest a hell of a lot in you. And when I say hell of a lot, you may say, no, well, I've done the hard work, I am going to work for the company and they are going to pay me a salary. That's yes. But you may notice that despite all your technical qualifications, every company will start to invest in training you. And these days, with technology especially changing every day almost, they will have to make investments in you in upgrading your technical skills. If not at least upgrading your technical skills, in upgrading your work ethics, work skills, etc., etc. And the question behind, if you come to me for an interview and if I am the company, I will have just one question that I am looking for. I am going to invest in this person. Why should I invest in them? Is it going to be worth it? Is this he or she going to make my company more productive? And if I am going to invest, let's say, 1 lakh rupees in this person, in maybe a salary, in maybe giving them part of my business to run, in maybe training programs for them, is it going to benefit my organization? Is it going to make a difference? And if during this process of evaluation, be it in the tech round or in the interview round, if I am able to make a difference and make that interviewer find the answer, I am well on my way to getting the job. But if the interviewer has in their mind, I am not sure whether to make the investment in this person, then the question will arise, am I employable? And this is the situation that we are facing, friends. Employability skills. Despite some of us having the best technical skills, the rest of us, we are thoroughly struggling with the employability skills when it comes to soft skills. How are we going to deal with them? We can start to understand this only by if we understand what the interviewer wants. If you come to me and we are having a discussion and you want to make me feel comfortable with the fact that I need to hire you, then you should be able to know what I am looking for in you. And that starts with looking at a kind of a case study. This is a case study wherein we see Akash. He was in the final year of college and he was looking for a job in a reputed company. He prepared well, he got an interview and he had to answer some common questions and he did well, he got the job. Soon after getting the job, he joined his company as a support executive. After completing the customary 2 weeks of training, he was assigned to work on the project. Very excited. Excellent. When he started working, he learned new technologies quickly, he made new friends, and he was organized and dedicated to his work. However, the deadlines were very strict, high level of accuracy was demanded, and he started to feel the strain. This pressure started to tell on him. And after 3 months, he was assigned to one more project. And guess what? In this particular project, he didn't have to do the same old thing over and over again. Every particular task he needed to use some out-of-the-box thinking. But he found it very difficult because Akash was used to doing the same things over and over again and he was very successful with it. He found it difficult to adjust to new conditions. He wished that he could go back to the old team. But do you get the choice? Do you and I get the choice to go back to and find our own teams? No. When we join an organization, we join and we are supposed to work with the team that we are left with. But he didn't have that option. He started being irritated and frustrated. Of course, it began to tell on his productivity. He was unable to concentrate. He soon never finished his work on time. He started making several mistakes. At the end of 1 year, he was fired from the company. What went wrong? Akash was a go-getter. He was a good fresher. He started working with so much of enthusiasm, with so much of zeal. Why did he lose his job? If we look closely, we can try and make sense of what were the things that Akash was good at and what Akash was not good at. What cost him his job? Why did he have to perhaps struggle with his job in the end? Why did he have to get frustrated? And we come to see that Akash was hardworking. Akash was dedicated. Akash had good social skills. And Akash's core technical skills were superb. But he was struggling with stress handling. He was struggling with time management. He was struggling with adaptability. He was struggling with focus. He was struggling with innovative thinking, problem solving, and emotional handling and change management. He couldn't deal with so much of pressure. He couldn't deal with change. He could not deal with innovative ideas. And what cost him his job? See, normally, when I get to meet freshers, when they get a job, some of them have 2 or 3 offers in their hand. And they are extremely happy. And they say, sir, I've got 2 offers, I've got 3 offers, smiles in their hands. And some of them are from very remote rural areas as well. And some of them get jobs in the city like Hyderabad, in city like Warangal, etc. And they are thrilled to move and start their careers and start their life afresh. After some time, when I meet some of them, it gives a very different picture. And this was a study that was done with freshers. They conducted a survey with about 11,000 freshers and from different states of India. And what was quite surprising is that 89% of them said they were undergoing stress at work. Can you imagine 89% of freshers undergoing stress at work? I can understand if you worked 20 years in a company or 30 years in a company, etc. But these are freshers. 89%. 41% showed low emotional stability, which of course gets converted to low performance. 52% of them showed low self-motivation levels. They absolutely had nothing to motivate them. And of course, when you're not motivated, you tend to also be a demotivation to others. So it's something that's a cause for worry. 7% showed low adaptability, which of course impacts performance. They were not ready to change. They were not open to situations which are different. They were not willing to learn new techniques and things. And 79% said they were stressed because of family issues. I couldn't understand these results because these guys are freshers. 79% of freshers, I don't know what families they are talking about, but they are saying that they are stressed because of family issues. 73% were saying that they are stressed because of uneasy workplace environment, team politics, not being acknowledged, late working hours, etc. Yes, of course, there are going to be situations wherein there are team politics, late working hours, there will be pressure, there will be deadlines. And sometimes, though companies try to put in place policies which require everybody to be fair to all employees and recognize every good performer, but still sometimes it does happen that once in a way some good performer may get left out. And late working hours are these days the norm. 60% said that they were stressed out due to other work-related issues. Now look at this. These are all freshers. One can understand that if we are talking to somebody who's just about to retire and they come up with all these things, it's fine. But this is about freshers who are supposed to be full of zeal, full of ideas, with bubbling energy, and who are ready to work 13 to 14 hours a day, and who are prepared to work on extra projects, who are prepared to help other employees. But these results are startling. They are worrying. What does this mean to you, a fresher? It means that you have to make a choice. What choice is that? Do you want a career or do you want a job? Do you want a career or do you want a job? Can you get one without the other? Can you build a career without a job? Not really. When you come to the interview, for this interviewer, now let's assume I am the interviewer. For me, you are an investment. I am going to make an investment in you. Are you a good investment? Can I put my money on you? And if I put it down, am I going to get the return? And if I put it on somebody else, will I get more return? If yes, then why should I put it on you? I'm going to take us through a little bit of what the employer's thought process is. Assuming that you've done a fantastic job with your technical round and you're excellent in your technical skills, and you've made it to the technical round, and you've come for an interview. Now, you are very well and very happy that you've made it, aware that you have good technical skills and that you've made it to the technical round. But here you are sitting with a company executive who is going to make some assessments. Of course, they will look forward to hearing some things from you. They will also ask many questions of you. During that process of having this conversation with you, that interviewer or that employer is making an assessment. What is going through that interviewer's mind? What is going through that employer's mind? What is it that this employer is expecting to get out of you during that time? The first question, during the whole conversation, during the assessment, the employer is looking, does this person have the technical skills and essential skills necessary for this job vacancy that I have? To each one of us, we may think we have the adequate amount of skills. But yes, if you've cleared the technical round, it means you do so. But remember, if there are 10 positions, maybe 1,000 people would have cleared the technical round. So how is it going to determine that whether you're the best or somebody else, and why should it be you? So the first question, of course, it's very basic, it's very qualifying, wherein with your interaction with me as an interviewer, I would like to establish that do you have the technical and essential skills needed for the job? If yes, I move on to the next question. Does this person have the work ethics I am looking for? Now, what do we mean by work ethics? In almost all big companies, and I say this with conviction, is because all big companies, ethics are topmost priority. You could be the best and perhaps the only technical expert in the company, but if you lack in ethics, no company wants you there. And what do you mean by ethics? In a way, we can bring it down to understanding that it means integrity. But what is integrity? Integrity, honesty, the way you deal with people, fairness, all that comes with integrity. But integrity goes one step further. It means doing the right thing when nobody is watching. It's very easy to be honest when everybody is looking at you. Just imagine a scenario wherein you're walking across the room and there are quite a few students sitting there, 25 students, odd students, and perhaps a 500 rupee note falls out from your pocket. Immediately you will find at least 3 or 4 students say, Sir, please, take your 500 which has fallen out from your pocket. Imagine a different scenario. There's only one student there, and that student has happened to be, probably having a hard time with finance and probably struggling to pay their fees and praying every day to have some help to be able to pay their fees. And just as I'm walking across them, that one student, 500 rupee falls. Now, the thought in everybody's mind is, or whoever it is there, it could be me also, I would start to look at, are there any CCTV cameras looking at me? God has answered my prayer. I have 500 rupees to pay my fees. Should I take it? The issue is, will I take it or no, is a separate issue. That's a separate discussion. But the thought is in everybody's mind. And friends, the ability to act rightly when nobody is watching is the ethics that companies want. Let me give you another example of what ethics means. During my work experience, I used to work as an assistant vice president for a leading multinational company. And I had some senior managers reporting to me. They used to handle teams of about 300 to 350 people. And there was one particular manager who was very, very good, in fact, ready for another promotion. Now, typically we were having 5-day weeks, and everybody would look forward to the weekend on Fridays. So as the Friday came, everybody came in, and they would typically discuss among themselves, okay, so before we going home on Friday, where do we drop in? So they decided to go to a small place and have a couple of drinks and go home. It's a free world, they can do that. What happened? They took their team out. This particular manager took the team out, but the rules within this organization was that you can take your team out and there are certain budgets being provided for that, but you cannot consume alcohol. So the team went out, they had a good time, everything went off well, and this senior manager submitted the bill to the finance department. A few days later, I had the finance officer come into my cabin and said, "Sir, this senior manager, he took out 12 people for a team dinner and he has submitted the bills, but the bill shows 33 biryani." So I said, anyway, I don't know why it should be that much unless they decided to stay and have two biryanis or take one biryani home. Please keep that bill there, I will find out. So a couple of hours later, the gentleman, the senior manager, who was very good, extremely good, I was telling you that he is due for promotion, came in and he had very good respect from his teammates, from his entire team. He used to be a very good worker, used to help them to the core. So when this gentleman came in, I asked him, "How was your weekend? How was everything? Went off well?" Very good. And then I asked the person, I said, "You guys went out for a team outing a few days ago. How did it go?" He said, "Sir, it went off well. Everything was nice. And we had a good time. We had a good dinner and we came back." So then I told him, "You were 12 of you who had gone out for dinner. But, there is a bill of 33 biryanis. How is this acceptable?" Then he said, "No, sir, I'll tell you the truth, sir. The truth that happened was actually among the 12 of them, 7 of them had beer. And I asked the the restaurant guy to put the equal amount into food. And so that's what he made the amount. I did not see what was all written, sir. I just brought the bill and I submitted it." So I said, "Thank you for being truthful. But I have only 2 questions for you. You've been truthful to me now, but by violating company policy, you've put me to a situation where I have to ask you 2 questions. Would you submit your resignation or should I terminate you?" This is how much ethics have an important role in the company. Remember, it doesn't matter, small or big, if you're against the company policy and if you're doing something like this, nobody tolerates it, irrespective of how good or how great a performer you are. Think of it this way. You probably have your own shop of your own, and perhaps a medical shop, and you have employed somebody to help you. During the course of a day, transactions happen and somebody comes and gives you a new 5 rupee coin. You don't want to mix it up with your cash and you take it and put it behind the computer. At about 1 o'clock, you tell your assistant, you tell him, "I'm going for lunch and coming back. I'll come back in half an hour, then you can go." And you go out for lunch. Go for lunch and come back and tell him, "Now you can go for lunch." And when this guy is gone for his lunch, in comes a customer and you're struggling to find change to handle that customer. Then you remember that behind the computer you had placed a new 5 rupee coin. You reach out behind that computer to find that 5 rupee coin, but you don't find it there. Anyway, you go to the nearby shop and you manage to settle the account with that customer, and the customer goes away happy. When your assistant comes back, you find that you ask the customer, you ask your assistant, "Arey, I had a new 5 rupee coin behind the computer. Did you take it and give it to anybody or something like that, or did you find it?" He said, No. I have not touched any new 5 rupee coin. Nothing like that. There's no 5 rupee coin. I have not gone there. So anyway, I also took it easy. At the end of the day, after 8 o'clock, shop was about to close, and my assistant already finished his work. So I asked him to carry on. And just before closing down, pulling down the shutter, I said, "Let me check the CCTV camera and see." And immediately I scrolled down to that timing of 1 to 1:30, checking what he was doing at that time. Immediately I noticed in the CCTV camera, he puts his hand behind that computer and takes the 5 rupee coin and puts it in his pocket. Now my question to you friends is, the next day morning, your assistant comes back to work with you. What will you do? Will you talk to him and perhaps counsel him about the 5 rupees? Or will you tell him, "Thank you for your services, take the remaining wage of yours and don't ever show me your face again"? I'm sure all of us would immediately get rid of that person. Because somebody who's dishonest with small things will be dishonest with big things. Today it's 5 rupees. Tomorrow it could be 50. Tomorrow 500, etc., etc. That's the role ethics has to play. Doesn't matter however good you are. If the company has to have a single doubt in your ability to handle things honestly, and when I say honestly, it means when nobody's watching, you don't deserve to be in the company, and nothing will save you, including your stellar performance. Will this person be an asset to the company? You've done pretty well in your studies. You've got good marks. You've done good projects, etc. All that doesn't matter to me. You're coming to me for the job. And I want to know if this guy is going to be an asset to me, yes or no. What is an asset? An asset is something that grows in value over a period of time. Will this person grow in value in my company? Or will this person be a nuisance? That's a question that I'm asking myself all throughout the interaction with you. Will this person be able to adapt to the culture in my company? If my company is very conservative and you are very forward thinking, then I may begin to ask myself, will this person be able to cope with the conservativeness? Or vice versa. If you are a conservative person and my company is very forward thinking, will you find this place home, or will you find yourself out of place all the time? And is this the right job for you? Very important. All throughout college, we will notice, and school also, it's about me, my studies, my marks, my performance. Even if it is extracurricular activities or some other sports activities, etc., it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. If I do well, I get recognized. But remember, in the company, everything changes. Once you join a company and once you're approaching a company for an interview, of course, I want to see your accomplishments. I want to see what you're good at. But individual performances don't matter. We've seen this recently in the cricket matches that we've had with Australia. It doesn't matter how good an individual performance you are. If the team doesn't win, we are as good as nothing. So during my interaction, I would like to make an assessment. Will you be able to work with other people who are not as brilliant as you? Or perhaps even more brilliant than you? Will this person be able to work with their bosses well? Is this person keen on taking new ideas? Or is this person just stuck with their own logic and etc. within the company? Very often, this word pressure is taken very lightly. There is no job without pressure. Now, many people, when I ask them, what do you think of pressure? And what's your definition of pressure? Many would say, sir, it means that, I have enough time during my breaks. I can take my leave on time. And of course, I work just 8 hours a day. I don't work any overtime. And I don't have to come in early or go late. And that's what I think as work pressure. But I can tell you this, there is no job without work pressure. And some people think that perhaps a government job wherein you don't have much to do, you're sitting, all throughout the day. Maybe complete your work in 10-15 minutes and then you have nothing else to do. That is no pressure. But I'll tell you something. You try doing nothing for a day and you see how much of pressure that is. So the idea of any job being without pressure does not exist. Every job, no matter whatever it is, has its own pressure. Nothing can take away from it. Pressure is always there. So will you, as an individual who have been managing things for yourself so long, will you be able to handle the pressure within the company, within your team, within the organization? That's something that I look for in my interactions with you. Will you be able to become a positive brand ambassador of my company, outside and inside? To ask you all a question. Suppose you are working for a good company, maybe an Accenture, maybe a Wipro, maybe a Capgemini, etc. And you have a 9-to-5 shift. You've completed your job very well. And of course, you are lucky, you got a Monday to Friday work schedule. Again comes Friday and you like to go home and, perhaps while going home, meet up with some of your colleagues, have a cool drink, maybe have a dinner and go back home. Now, my question to each one of you is, 9 to 5, you've worked very hard, you've done your job and gone. Are you responsible to the company after 5 o'clock? Most of us would say, no. Why should I be responsible to the company after 5 o'clock? I've completed my shift, I've completed my work, and I'm going home. It's my weekend. It's my time. I can do what I like. Of course you can. And that's freedom. But let me give you a small true story again from my own experience. We have people like Shah Rukh Khan who are brand ambassadors for 𝗧𝗏. What do you mean by brand ambassador? A brand ambassador is somebody who represents the value of the brand or who's capable of enhancing the value of the brand. Now imagine if it were otherwise. Then the person would be called a brand killer, not a brand ambassador. Now I've given you a situation which happened in real life. It was again one of my senior managers while working for a very good company. Again, everybody has completed their shift. A Friday evening, 7:30, 8 o'clock. They just plan to meet up, have a good time, maybe have some dinner and then head out to their homes. So another good senior guy decided to meet up with their colleagues, which is nothing wrong with it. And they had gone into Banjara Hills to a small pub. And they were having a few beers, and this is on their own account. This has nothing to do with the company. They finished their Friday schedule, and Saturday, Sunday is their weekly off. So they're having a good time before they go home, and then of course, rejuvenate for the next week. All was fine. They had a few drinks, etc. There were about 8 of them. And in fact, they were contemplating and they were supposed to be discussing among themselves, should they have dinner in the same place or would they like to go across the road to another good place for dinner. During the course of the conversation, and this is around 10 o'clock, 10:30, a small interaction occurred. Somebody who had just a guest who had come in newly or perhaps at that time itself into the bar happened to nudge some person, actually one of the teammates who was a lady teammate. They happened to nudge them. Now, it started as a discussion and said, why did you do this and how did you do this, and the interaction started that way. Within a minute or two, it started getting into shouting and argument. And within the next minute, it was into fist fighting. They were throwing punches at each other. Within the next minute, the bouncers took and threw both the parties on the road. Everything is over. They all went home. Nothing else happened. Next day morning, the paper, I'm not mentioning the name of the company, but the next day morning, headlines in the third page were, Dash employee, senior manager, drunk and causing havoc and nuisance at a pub. They didn't even want to know who that employee was. They didn't even mention their names. But what got mentioned? The company they work for. Now, guess what happened? Saturday went by, Sunday went by, and on Monday we got back to work. On Monday, this manager came into the office, and of course I had asked him to come and see me as soon as he comes into the office. So when he came, saw me, I had the cutting of that newspaper with me. And then I happened to ask him, I said, how was your outing on Friday? He said, sir, it was good, sir, but everything went off well, and then last minute somebody came and they bumped into one of our colleagues, and then it started into a discussion, argument, and then it didn't end well. I said, yeah, I guess I can picture what happened. I didn't bother to ask him who was there with him, who else was there. I said, I have only 2 questions to ask you. Would you resign or shall I terminate you? Again, one of my best employers, one of my best employees. The right hand, he used to be my right hand. Senior guy. Excellent with his team. Very innovative in thinking. Definitely had a very good future. But this is how we take it seriously when it comes in your capacity to build or to be a positive brand ambassador. When you come for that interview, and with the questions that I'm asking you and when you are answering me or during our interactions, every single employer wants to know, will this person be a positive brand ambassador? So it doesn't really matter whether it's after your work hours, during your work hours, whatever it is. If you work for a company, you carry the company wherever you go. Will you be able to make an impact? Now, I have a company and I have a team that's already delivering maybe 10 lakh rupees a month revenue, this particular team. And I'm going to put you in that team. And even after putting you, the same team is only going to be contributing 10 lakh in revenue per month. Then why should I have put you there? Okay. If it is contributing 10 lakh revenue with better services, with better quality, with better rigor, with better attitude, maybe. But if after putting you in that team, you're not able to make a difference, if still the team is continuing to lag or to perhaps be at 10 lakhs per month revenue with no improved quality, no extreme improved performance, why should I have hired you? Why should I have put you? Why should I have invested in you? How many times do we hear of people joining a company and retiring from them? These days it's much less. But still they do exist. Still it does exist. I'm not saying that one should retire with the company, because these days companies are, and we are clear that, yes, if your priorities have changed, if companies' priorities have changed, and if you've learned up to a particular level and feel that your learning is limited in this organization and you need to go somewhere else to learn more, then perhaps, joining another organization is the right move. But nobody wants to have an employee to come and work for 2 years, 3 years and go away. So if during the conversation, I am thinking that you are coming to work for 2 years and after that you want to go abroad or something like that, or after 2 years you want to take a sabbatical and do your post-graduation, then why should I hire you? the very fact remains that whenever I do a hiring or whenever people are hiring you, they are not hiring you for that position. Like for example, if for example the role is a software developer, they are hiring for that position, yes. But when we are hiring you, we hire you with the objective that 3 or 4 years from now you can be a team lead. If you cannot be a team lead 3 or 4 years or 5 years from now, you will still be a software developer and then you will be unsatisfied because you will be doing the same things for 4 or 5 years. That's why whenever a good hiring team hires somebody, they will hire them for the future and for your future capacities. If you see that you cannot grow, number one, if they see that you are not interested in staying with the company for more than 3 to 4 years, number two, and if they see that you cannot see yourself growing, then perhaps you don't stand a chance in the interview. Perhaps the company will not decide to take you. Outside of every interviewer's office, there will be so many candidates, maybe 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, 200. Out of everybody there, why should I hire you? What is so unique about you? I'm sure everybody has good technical qualifications there. And especially after you've already conducted a technical round, all those who have come for the interview have cleared the technical round. So what's so special and what's your USP? And I want each one of you to answer that question for yourself. If you cannot answer it, don't go for the interview because you will fail. If I don't know what's my selling point, if I don't know what is special about me, if I do not know what makes me different from all those people who are outside there, why should I be selected? So there, we need to do a deep dive and introspection. I want each one of us, as I am reading through some of this, to do an assessment for ourselves. It's not that I want to know how much you scored. And remember, do an honest assessment. Being honest may land you with a low score. But that doesn't mean that today if you have a low score, అంటే ఇవాళ స్కోర్లో మనకి తక్కువ ఉందంటే రేపు కూడా తక్కువ ఉండాలని ఏం లేదు. Because if I know that ఇవాళ today my score తక్కువ ఉంది, నేను దానికి ఇంప్రూవ్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేసి tomorrow I can land up with a beautiful score. But if I am lenient, నాకు తక్కువ స్కోర్ ఎక్కడ ఉండాలి, నేను దానికి ఎక్కువ వేస్తే నేను దానికి ఇంకా ఏం చేయలేము, దానికి ఎవ్వరు కూడా హెల్ప్ చేయలేరు. So what I request you to do is, as we go through these points, maybe on a notebook, maybe on a scribbling pad, or maybe in your mind itself, do an evaluation for yourself. What is your score? 5 of course is excellent, 1 is poor. Remember, do the scoring honestly. Because again I'm saying this, if you know that you are low on something today, you can work on it and you can improve before you go for your next interview or before your next interaction. So for the first thing is basic technical competency. నేను ఒక జాబ్ కోసం అప్లై చేస్తున్నాను, దానికి జాబ్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్ ఉంటుంది, జాబ్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్స్ ఉంటుంది. ఆ కంపెనీకి ఆ జాబ్ వేకెన్సీకి నాకు సరిపోయేటట్లుగా బేసిక్ టెక్నికల్ కాంపిటెన్సీ ఉందా? ఉందంటే ఓకే ఎస్ ఓకే, నా దానికి సరిపోయేటట్లుగా ఉందంటే నా స్కోర్ 3 వస్తుంది. ఓ ఈ జాబ్ కన్నా చాలా ఎక్కువ ఉంది నాకు అంటే 5 వస్తుంది. కానీ లేదు, నాకు డౌట్ ఉంది, కొన్ని దాన్ని నేను బ్రషప్ చేసుకోవాలి అంటే నీడ్స్ ఇంప్రూవ్మెంట్ 2 లేకపోతే 1 స్కోర్ ఇవ్వాలి. అది ఇస్తే నీకు ఇవాళ తక్కువ స్కోర్ ఉంది, కానీ ఇవాళ నువ్వు తెలుసుకున్నావు, అరే నా బేసిక్ టెక్నికల్ కాంపిటెన్సీ నాకు తక్కువ ఉంది, నేను దానికి వర్క్ చేసి దాని మీద నేను దానికి చదివి నేను కొంచెం టెక్నికల్ స్కిల్స్ కానీ ఆన్లైన్ కోర్సెస్ కానీ చేసి నేను దాన్ని ఇంప్రూవ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. Companies always want to see people who are willing to learn. Just because I got 90% or 95% in my graduation doesn't mean that I am the best. Very often it's proved the other way around. So, am I willing to learn? Yes, I may have good knowledge also. దాని అర్థం ఏంటి? ఇంకా నేను నేర్చుకోలేనా? ఇంకా కొత్త టాపిక్స్ నేను చూసుకోలేనా? ఇంకా కొత్త ఇనిషియేటివ్స్ నేను చేసుకోలేనా? అండ్ సపోజ్ ఇఫ్ మై మెథడ్ ఇస్ దిస్, am I closed to other methods? Can I not approach it from a different angle? Values and ethics. నా వాల్యూస్ మంచిగా ఉన్నాయా? నా ఎథిక్స్ మంచిగా ఉన్నాయా? లేదంటే నాకు తక్కువ స్కోర్ పెట్టి నేను దాని మీద వర్క్ చేయాలి. I need to understand what are the values that I need to improve on. And my honesty, remember, from college and school, these are not given focus much. అరే ఎవరిది పెన్సిల్ దొరికింది తీసుకొని పోతాం, ఎవరి రబ్బర్ దొరికింది తీసుకొని పోతాం, దానికి ఎవరు పట్టించుకోరుగా. సరే తీసుకుపోయావు, ప్రిన్సిపల్ తెలిసిపోయింది, ప్రిన్సిపల్ దగ్గర కొంచెం తిడతారు, పేరెంట్స్ని పిలుస్తారు, కౌన్సిలింగ్ ఉంటుంది, అయిపోయింది. కానీ మనం అదే ఆఫీస్లో చేస్తే నీకు ఒక్క నిమిషం ఉంచారు. వాట్ ఈస్ క్రియేటివిటీ? వెన్ వీ టాక్ ఆఫ్ క్రియేటివిటీ, ఆర్ యూ కేపబుల్ ఆఫ్ డూయింగ్ థింగ్స్ అండ్ లుకింగ్ అట్ థింగ్స్ డిఫరెంట్లీ? ప్రతిసారి నేను ఇట్లనే చేసుకుంటూ వస్తాం. సరే బాబు, నువ్వు చేసుకుంటూ వస్తున్నావు, బాగానే ఉంది, నీకు రిజల్ట్స్ కూడా బాగానే వస్తుంది. కానీ వాట్ ఇఫ్ somebody else also comes and tells you, sir, instead of doing it this way, let's try it this way, let's see what happens. లేదు మనం చేయలేము, ఇట్లనే చేసుకుంటూ వస్తాం. రిమెంబర్, there's nothing wrong with trying, because perhaps ఒకసారి ట్రై చేస్తే maybe we can get a better result. Am I a positive contributor? Especially with teamwork. కొంతమంది ఉన్నారు, టీం ఎక్కడైనా ఉండని, ఎలాగైనా టీం ఉండని, వాళ్ళు కలిసిమెలిసి చేసుకుంటారు. కానీ కొంతమంది అస్సలు టీం వాళ్ళు ఏదైనా 2 మాటలు చెప్తే వాళ్ళు చాలా ఫీల్ అయిపోతారు. అసలు ఈడెవడు నాకు చెప్పడానికి, నేను మంచి మార్క్స్ వచ్చింది, నాకు ఆడికి అసలు ఏం కాలేజ్ చదివాడు. టీం వర్క్లో అలాంటిది అవకాశాలు ఉండవు. అలాంటి థాట్స్ వస్తే నువ్వు పనికిరావు. There's nothing more important than taking the whole value of the team, taking ideas from the team. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. They will continue. They will do. Am I a positive contributor who takes initiative? Takes initiative ante enti? Many times we can see in teams that one person may be doing very well, one person may be struggling. వాళ్ళకి రిజల్ట్స్ రావు, వాళ్ళకి అర్థం కాదు. అలాంటి టైంలో మనం వాళ్ళని చూసి నవ్వుకుంటామా? లేకపోతే అలాంటి టైంలో మనం వాళ్ళ దగ్గర వెళ్ళి, చూడు నాకు కొద్దిగా ఈజీగా వచ్చింది, నీకేమైంది, నేను నీకు హెల్ప్ చేయనా అని సహాయం చేస్తే దాంట్లో నీ లీడర్షిప్ క్వాలిటీస్ వస్తుంది, దానికి నువ్వు హెల్ప్ చేసే క్వాలిటీస్ వస్తుంది, నీ టీం పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ కూడా పెరుగుతుంది దాంట్లో. Flexible personality. Are you capable of understanding and going with flows of others? ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇప్పుడు వరకు మనం ఇలాంటివి చేసుకుంటూ వస్తున్నాం. సడన్లీ టుడే యూ ట్రైడ్ ఎ డిఫరెంట్ వే అండ్ ఇట్స్ మోర్ ప్రొడక్టివ్. లేదు ఇది బాగలేదు, నాకు నచ్చలేదు, నేను ఇట్లా చేయను, నేను ఇట్లానే చేసుకుంటాను. దట్ మీన్స్ యూ ఆర్ నాట్ ఫ్లెక్సిబుల్. ఇఫ్ దెర్ ఇస్ అ బెటర్ వే, వీ షుడ్ ఆల్వేస్ బీ ఓపెన్ టు అడాప్టింగ్ బెటర్ అండ్ న్యూ పాలసీస్. Interpersonal relationship skills and teamwork. Some people are there, వాళ్ళు ఏంటంటే ఇండివిజువల్గా ఏమైనా చేసుకుంటారు, ఏమైనా ప్రాబ్లమ్ని సాల్వ్ చేస్తారు, ఏమైనా పని చెప్పు చేస్తారు. కానీ టీంతో కలిసిమెలిసి చేయమంటే వాళ్ళతో కాదు. అండ్ that's something that is because in school and college we are accountable only for our performance. But suddenly, remember, in work, it's not only your performance is important. కానీ మీ టీమ్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ కూడా కలిసిమెలిసి ఉండాలి. ఈజ్ యువర్ రిలేషన్షిప్ విత్ ఎవ్రీబడి గుడ్? నువ్వు అందరితో సరిగ్గా మాట్లాడగలుగుతావా? ఎలాంటి మూడ్స్తో, ఎలాంటి ఫీలింగ్స్తో మాట్లాడాలి? సపోజ్ ఇఫ్ సంబడి ఎల్స్ ఇస్ హ్యావింగ్ అ టఫ్ ప్రాబ్లం, నువ్వు వాళ్ళకి ఎలా సహాయం పడతావా, లేకపోతే వాళ్ళని తిట్టి నువ్వు పని చేయించుకుంటావా? ఆర్ యూ అ గుడ్ కమ్యూనికేటర్? నేను చెప్పేటప్పుడు మీరు మైండ్లో కానీ మీ నోట్బుక్లో కానీ ఆ స్కోర్స్ వేయండి. When I say good communicator, what does it mean? Sometimes we think good communication means having good body language, having eye contact, having good voice, command over language, etc., etc., etc. కానీ కమ్యూనికేషన్లో లాంగ్వేజ్ కూడా అవసరం లేదు. నా మైండ్లో ఐడియా ఉంది, నీ మైండ్లో తీసుకురావాలి. నేను ఒక మాట లేకుండా కూడా అదే సేమ్ ఐడియా నీ మైండ్లో తీసుకువచ్చాను అనుకో, కమ్యూనికేషన్ ఇస్ గుడ్. బట్ నేను ఎంత మంచి మాట్లాడగలుగుతాను, నేను ఎంత మంచి స్పీచ్ ఇస్తాను, నేను ఎంత మంచి యాక్షన్ చేస్తాను, నేను ఎంత డ్రామా చేస్తే కూడా నీ మైండ్లో ఎక్కట్లేదు ఐడియా, ఐఎమ్ అ బ్యాడ్ కమ్యూనికేటర్. సో గుడ్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ మీన్స్, am I able to understand your mind correctly, the way you're speaking? And am I able to communicate to you, and are you being able to understand what I'm speaking? That is good communication. It's a two-way process. Cannot be one way. Emotion handling. మాట మాటికి ఏడుపు, మాట మాటికి నవ్వు, మాట మాటికి కోపం, ఇంటి నుంచి బయట రావడం. That means I am incapable of handling my feelings. ఈ ఫీలింగ్స్, ఈ ఎమోషన్స్ అందరికీ వస్తుంది, అందరికీ ఉంటుంది. బట్ రిమెంబర్ దిస్, వాట్ డిఫరెన్షియేట్స్ between you and somebody else is how you deal with those feelings. What makes you the man or the woman you are, and what makes you the man or the woman you want to be, is how you deal or how you respond to those feelings. Some person can shout at me, but if I also shout at them, what's the difference between me and them? Some person can shout at me. I can say, you shout at me, I will hit you. Again, I become worse than them. But if some person shouts at me, I can also understand and say, hey gentleman, hey lady, నీకు బీపీ ఎక్కువ ఉంది, take it easy, relax. Remember how I felt. అంటే నాకు ఫీలింగ్ వచ్చింది, వాళ్ళు తిట్టారు నాకు కాబట్టి నాకు ఫీలింగ్ వచ్చింది. కానీ ఆ ఫీలింగ్స్ని నేను ఎలా కన్వర్ట్ చేసి ఆ ఫీలింగ్స్ని ఎలా పాజిటివ్ వే నేను చేసుకోగలుగుతాను, దట్ డిసైడ్స్ who I am and who I want to be. Do I have a positive attitude and pleasing personality? Now, what do you mean by positive attitude? అంటే లైఫ్లో అన్ని పాజిటివ్ జరిగితే పాజిటివ్ యాటిట్యూడ్? Everybody has their challenges. There is nobody who does not have problems. ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి 100 ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ వస్తాయి. నువ్వు ఒక్కటి అడిగితే 100 చెప్తారు. కానీ what makes the difference? If you don't have a positive attitude, you cannot approach those 100 problems. But if you have a positive attitude, you can at least solve 2 of them and make it 98. And pleasing personality. అంటే జనాలు మన చుట్టూ రాగానే వాళ్ళకి ఇష్టమా, లేకపోతే ఆడ దగ్గర వచ్చి నేను సచిన రాను. Now you decide what kind of personality are you. Do people want to come and be around you, or do people hesitate to come around you? If people hesitate to come around you, then the opportunity lies in you making a change. తక్కువ స్కోర్ అయ్యి, కానీ మైండ్లో ఆలోచించు, నేను నా పర్సనాలిటీని మార్చాలి. అంటే జనాలు నీ మీద వచ్చి పడాలని కాదు. రిమెంబర్, if you have a good pleasing personality, people like to be with you. And this does not mean that ఎవరు బయట వాళ్ళు కాదు, ఈవెన్ మీ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్స్ మీతో కలిసిమెలిసి ఉంటారా, ఆడుతూ పాడుతూ జీవితం చేస్తున్నారా, లేకపోతే మిమ్మల్ని చూస్తేనే వాళ్ళు వేసి వెళ్ళిపోతారు, then something is wrong. Am I a problem solver and am I a critical thinker? ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వింగ్ అనేది ఏంటి? ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి ఉన్నాయి ప్రాబ్లమ్స్. ఇప్పుడు మీరు గుర్తుంచుకోండి, నాకు ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ వచ్చినప్పుడు నేనేం చేస్తాను? రాగానే నాన్న దగ్గర వెళ్తాను, మా అమ్మగారి దగ్గర వెళ్తాను, లేకపోతే నా ఫ్రెండ్స్ దగ్గర వెళ్తాను. అంటే దట్ మీన్స్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ వెరీ గుడ్ అట్ ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వింగ్. బట్ వెన్ పీపుల్ హ్యావ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్, దే కమ్ టు మీ and ask for my suggestions, that means I am a good problem solver. So I must try to understand, am I a good problem solver or not? ఒకవేళ నేను ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వింగ్ సరిగ్గా చేయకపోతే నా లైఫ్ అంతా ప్రాబ్లం వస్తుంది. బికాస్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ దట్ యూ అండ్ మీ డూ, వీఆర్ సాల్వింగ్ సమ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఆర్ ది అదర్. కల్చరల్ అవేర్నెస్ అంటే India especially is such a unique country. We have so many backgrounds, we have so many religions, we have so many cultures. Even in Telugu, Telangana, we have so many different customs, traditions. Malla Telugulo amala Andhra undi, వాళ్ళకి కూడా separate traditions ఉన్నారు. దాని అందరికీ can I understand the differences and appreciate it? అందరు నాలా నేను చేసినట్లుగా చేయడానికి ఏం అవసరం లేదు. Do I believe in that clearly? And do I understand that if somebody is doing something different from me, there may not be anything wrong in it? దానికి నేను రెస్పెక్ట్ చేయగల కెపాసిటీ ఉండాలి. అండ్ లాస్ట్ బట్ నాట్ ద లీస్ట్, లీడర్షిప్. లెట్ మీ గివ్ యూ అన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. మీ క్లాస్ జరుగుతుంది. క్లాస్ జరగగానే మేబీ యువర్ టీచర్ ఆర్ యువర్ లెక్చరర్ గెట్స్ సమ్ అర్జెంట్ కాల్ ఫ్రమ్ ద ప్రిన్సిపల్ అండ్ యువర్ లెక్చరర్ హెస్ గాన్ అవుట్ అండ్ ద లెక్చరర్ సెస్, జస్ట్ గివ్ మీ ఫ్యూ మినిట్స్, ఐ విల్ బి బ్యాక్. లెక్చరర్ వెళ్ళారు బయట. ఆ మధ్యలోనే ఈ క్లాస్ అంతా గోల అవుతుంది. అలా అయినప్పుడు do you also be like everybody else and start having fun and making noise? Or maybe you suddenly jump up and say, hello everybody, let's not make noise, our class is one of the best, our class is good, let's keep it up. In the meantime, I will tell you a story, or let's do something, let somebody come and do a drama, let somebody come and sing a song, entertain us. That way everybody is kept in order. But do you take the initiative or do you sit and say, ఎవరో చేస్తారు వాళ్ళు చేస్తారు నాకేంటి? Leaders are born from small things. Suddenly let's say a leader అయిపోవడం అది కాదు. From all these situations, a leader is born. Are you willing to take the difference, to make the difference? Are you willing to step out and come forward? And remember, each interaction, each interview, each time that you get to meet with an employer is an interaction, and it's all about a mindset. ఆ mindset, attitude change చేయడానికి టైం పడుతుంది. టైం కూడా ఉంది మీ దగ్గర. Remember, when you come to an interaction, a company or an employer is looking how you introduce yourself. When you come into the room, how do you greet them? Are you agile? Are you smiling? I'm going to give you some data later on which will tell us a few things. But what I want to do is, first things, tell us what we should not be doing. When the company or when the interviewer asks us, tell me something about yourself. నీ గురించి నాకు చెప్పు కొద్దిగా అంటే తనకి ఏం కావాలి? మీ హాబీస్ కావాలా? మీ నేటివ్ ప్లేస్ కావాలా? మీ స్కిల్ సెట్స్ కావాలా? మీ ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ కావాలా? మీ ఏరియాస్ ఆఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ కావాలా? మీ లాంగ్ టర్మ్స్ గోల్స్ కావాలా? అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ దీస్, ఇంటర్వ్యూవర్ వాంట్స్ టు నో ఆల్ ద రెస్ట్ ఎక్సెప్ట్ పాయింట్ బి. నేటివ్ ప్లేస్ అక్కర్లేదు, ఫ్యామిలీ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ అక్కర్లేదు, తెలుసుకోవచ్చు, బట్ ఇట్స్ నాట్ నెసెసరీ. I'm going to just quickly spend some time in talking about what are the 10 things to do when you introduce yourself. And this I'm saying is because you have to make a difference between anybody else. And how to make the difference also we will discuss. First thing, whenever you walk into the room and whenever you introduce yourself, use your full name. Hello, full name. Talk about what you're doing currently. Graduation అయిపోయింది, నేను ఇంటర్వ్యూ కోసం ప్రిపేర్ చేస్తున్నాను, ఆర్ మేబీ ఐఎమ్ డూయింగ్ సమ్ ఆన్లైన్ కోర్సెస్, ఆర్ మేబీ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ డూయింగ్ ఎనీథింగ్, ఐఎమ్ ఎంజాయింగ్ మై హాలిడేస్. బట్ వాట్ ఆర్ యూ డూయింగ్ ప్రెజెంట్లీ? వాట్ అబౌట్ యువర్ ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ అండ్ టెక్నికల్ స్కిల్స్? నీ గురించి ఒక్క వర్డ్లో చెప్పాలంటే ఏం చెప్తావు? You have to have that. People would describe me as hardworking, or my friends say that I am very passionate in what I do. What is it that is good about you? What is it that is unique about you? You need to say that, not me. What is one major strength? What is one feature that you like about the industry? అంటే నువ్వు టెక్నికల్ ఫీల్డ్లో ఉన్నావు and you want to apply for the post of a developer. What is it that you like about developing? Or you're in the pharma industry and you're applying to become a pharmacist. What is it that you like in that industry? లేకపోతే నీకు అక్కడ తోసారా? నాకు ఇష్టం లేదు సార్, కానీ నా పేరెంట్స్ నాకు తీసుకోమని చెప్పారా? You need to know why you want to be there in that industry. What are your goals? లైఫ్లో ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి గోల్స్ ఉన్నాయి. రిమెంబర్, గోల్స్ ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ యువర్ డ్రీమ్స్. అచీవ్మెంట్స్. వాట్ ఆర్ యువర్ అచీవ్మెంట్స్? హాబీస్, family background, and remember, introduction should be planned very carefully, and depending on what job, what role, దాని తగ్గట్టుగా మనం మాడిఫై చేసి ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ ఇవ్వాలి. కామన్ మిస్టేక్స్. సమ్ ఆఫ్ us say, sir, myself సోమసుందరం. Wrong. Sometimes some of us say, this is సోమసుందరం. Wrong. Both are incorrect and wrong grammar. The correct way would be, my name is Mark Louis Horne, or I am Mark Louis Horne. Remember this. Don't experiment, only use these two options. ఇప్పుడు ప్రస్తుతానికి presentలో ఏం చేస్తున్నారు? What are you doing right now? Remember, if you've completed your graduation 1 month ago and you've got your results, employers want to know ఆ 1 monthలో నువ్వు ఏం చేస్తున్నావు? నువ్వు ఎవరికి సాయం చేస్తున్నావా? Or maybe you are preparing for your UPSC or whatever it is. Or maybe are you doing some online courses? Or maybe you're just enjoying your vacation. Maybe you're traveling. They want to still know. Because it gives me an idea. During your free time, what do you do? Remember, whatever you're doing, be it, if you're enjoying your holidays, say you're enjoying your holidays honestly. Nothing wrong in enjoying your holidays. Education and technical skills. Mention your present and then go backwards. Do not use the word pursuing. I'm just only telling you the mistakes what we are making. The remaining things you have to frame up for yourself. Pursuing అనేది ఆ మిస్టేక్ చాలా మంది చేస్తారు. Sir, I'm pursuing my BTech in so and so. I'm pursuing my BCom in so and so. Don't use pursuing, because pursuing ఇంగ్లీష్లో దాని అర్థము ఇట్ మీన్స్ రన్నింగ్ ఆఫ్టర్. దాని వెనకాల ఉరకడం. ఆర్ యూ రన్నింగ్ ఆఫ్టర్ యువర్ డిగ్రీ? నో. ఆర్ యూ రన్నింగ్ ఆఫ్టర్ బీకామ్? నో. యు ఆర్ డూయింగ్ యువర్ డిగ్రీ. ఐ am graduating, or I am doing my graduation in so and so in so and so college. Talk about any specific certifications that you are doing during your graduation. If you are attending the interview for a software developer, you tell them, I have done some of these certifications. Talk about only valid, good certifications. Don't talk unnecessary things. One thing that describes you as a person. Remember, these things are what I expect of you. You can have the best qualification. It doesn't matter. But what describes you as a person? I want to know you deeply. Sir, I'm hardworking. I'm an inquisitive person. I'm a friendly person. I'm a social person. I'm a creative person. What is that one quality that describes you and how it's linked to that particular job that you're applying for? Strengths. What is your strength? Remember, all of us have strengths. ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి బలం ఉన్నాయి. కొంతమందికి 20 ఉంటాయి, కొంతమందికి 50 ఉన్నాయి, కొంతమందికి 10 ఉంటాయి. Talk about that strength that is related to that job. Suppose ఒక జాబ్కి ఫ్లెక్సిబిలిటీ, అడాప్టబిలిటీ మనకు అవసరం ఆ జాబ్కి, ఆ రోల్కి. దాని గురించి మాట్లాడు. సో వన్ ఆఫ్ మై కీ స్ట్రెంగ్స్ ఇస్ మై ఫ్లెక్సిబిలిటీ అండ్ అడాప్టబిలిటీ, అండ్ విచ్ ఇస్ రిక్వైర్డ్ ఇన్ దిస్ జాబ్ రోల్, అండ్ ఐఎమ్ వెరీ షూర్ ఐ కెన్ యూజ్ ఇట్ టు మేక్ అ డిఫరెన్స్. Some of our strengths are hardworking, and that particular job may need hardworking. So with my hardworking skills that I have, and it's my strength, I am capable of taking the team to the new heights, etc., etc. నువ్వు సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇండస్ట్రీలో ఉన్నావు, లేకపోతే ఫార్మా ఇండస్ట్రీలో ఉన్నావు, లేకపోతే మెకానికల్ ఇండస్ట్రీలో ఉన్నావు. ఎందుకున్నావు దాంట్లో? నీకు వేరే దిక్కుదారి లేకపోతే ఇక్కడ పడ్డావా? లేకపోతే నీకు ఇష్టం ఉండగా పడ్డావా? లేకపోతే పేరెంట్స్ చెప్పినందుకు నువ్వు వెళ్ళావా? వై డిడ్ యూ పర్సీవ్ దిస్ ఇండస్ట్రీ? ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చూడు. ద రీజన్ వై ద మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ సెక్టర్ it encourages me or interests me is because there are a lot of exciting developments happening. Similarly, what industry you are looking at, you need to have an understanding of why you are still in that industry. నీకు ఎందుకు అక్కడ ఇండస్ట్రీలో వేరే ఇండస్ట్రీలు లేవా? Goals. What are your goals? Every person, every company wants to know your goal. Remember, goal setting is important for you. But companies also want to know your goal because every company also has a goal. And they want to see నీ గోల్కి కంపెనీ గోల్కి సిమిలారిటీస్ ఉన్నాయా లేవా? And if both goals can go together, what are you planning to do in the near future? And why? If those goals are mix and match and actually are good for the company, you can be hired. Your achievements. ఇప్పుడు మనం once we start in college, in schools, we have a lot of achievements. కానీ అచీవ్మెంట్స్ అంటే అచీవ్మెంట్స్ ఉండాలి, నాట్ పార్టిసిపేషన్. సో పార్టిసిపేటెడ్ ఇన్ ఎస్సే రైటింగ్ కాంపిటీషన్, అది అచీవ్మెంట్ కాదు. అండ్ అచీవ్మెంట్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ దట్ స్టాండ్స్ అవుట్, దట్ మేక్స్ యూ డిఫరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ అదర్స్. లైక్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, top 3 positions. I was CR for the last 3 years in my college. These are something that everybody doesn't do. సార్ నేను కబడ్డీ కాంపిటీషన్లో పార్టిసిపేట్ చేశాను. నువ్వు పార్టిసిపేట్ చేసావు, బట్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద రిజల్ట్స్? హాబీస్. ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి హాబీస్ ఉంటాయని చెప్తారు, బట్ రిమెంబర్, హాబీస్ ఆర్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ డిఫరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్స్. దీస్ ఆర్ ద థింగ్స్ దట్ యు ఆర్ డిస్కసింగ్, బట్ కంపెనీస్ వాంట్ టు నో, does this fellow use his time properly? Does she use her time properly? Because hobbies generally build your spare time that you have, and it helps you become a better person. Like for example, remember, if you are interested in cricket, sir, I have a hobby playing cricket, but I play whenever I get time. That's not a hobby, that's an interest. But if you really have a hobby as cricket, sir, my hobby is playing cricket, and every Sunday, first half of the day, I play cricket without fail. That is a hobby because you've taken time to make time, you've made the effort to make time for that particular area of interest, and that's a hobby. Remember, if you don't have a hobby, tell them I don't have a hobby. Some people say, sir, my hobby is reading, and then the next question will ask, what kind of books do you read? Sir, I like to read fiction books. What was the last book that you read? Who was the author? And then you are stuck. So if you don't have a hobby, don't lie. Tell them, I don't have a hobby. I have some interests. Whenever I get a chance, I like to read some comics. I like to read the newspapers. But those are only interests, sir. I haven't yet formed a hobby. Maybe I'll grow this and make it a hobby in some time. నీ ఫ్యామిలీ గురించి మాట్లాడాలంటే, నాకు చెప్పాలంటే నువ్వు ఎలా చెప్తావు? There are few things that you can talk about. Native place, mention something that's good about it. Like for example, when you're introducing yourself itself, my name is Sudha from the land of the 1000-pillar temple, Warangal. You see, it makes an impact. Or for example, my name is Mark Louis Horne from the land of the Charminar, Hyderabad. Impact. Because they want to see, do you have energy in you? Do you have passion in you? Apart from the knowledge, apart from the skills. అవును, నువ్వు అదే చెప్తున్నావు, అందరు చెప్తారు, కానీ నీలో వేరే వాళ్ళకి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి? Your introduction should be dynamic. Change it according to the jobs, according to the job description. Your strengths, etc. ఆ జాబ్కి ఏమేమి కావాలి, దాని తగ్గట్టు కూడా నీ స్ట్రెంగ్స్ ఉండాలి. Make a list of the skills required for different jobs and it will help you understand how to project yourself. ఇప్పుడు ఈ డిఫరెంట్ జాబ్స్కి స్కిల్స్ ఎలా దొరుకుతాయి మీకు? బేసికలీ దే విల్ టెల్ యూ జావా కావాలి, ప్లస్ కావాలి, ఇది కావాలి, టీమ్ బిల్డింగ్ స్కిల్స్, కమ్యూనికేషన్ స్కిల్స్ కావాలి. And later, if you want to find out more details, go to the job description. You will find all the small details which are required for that particular job. Take those points and then make a compiled list. You will understand if really ee job na kosam unda lekapothe nenu jump cheyala, skip cheyala. Here's another case study. And if you see, it's a case study of introduction. We spoke about 10 things. Manam 10 vishayalu introduction lo cheyalani manam chusukunnam. Look at this beautiful introduction. I'm just giving you only one example. We will not spend too much time. I will read it out while it's on the screen. I am 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧. I am in my final year of computer science engineering at ABC Engineering College. I have always been an inquisitive person and I enjoy solving problems, riddles and puzzles. I consider innovative thinking to be my biggest strength. This is also one reason I have chosen computer science as a subject to study and software development as a profession. I am extremely fascinated how information technology is changing the world and I would love to be part of this transformation. To enhance my skills in this area, I have completed a certification program in Python programming. One of my biggest achievements was when I was selected among the top 25 coders in a competition conducted for engineering students in Telangana. My goal in life is to establish myself as an innovative software development professional. In the next 5 years, I see myself as a software architect in a reputed company. My hobbies are playing games that involve solving puzzles and cracking codes. I am a native of Warangal. My father is a business person and mother is a teacher. I have one brother and 2 sisters. If you look at this introduction, you see it has all those 10 articles that I was talking about. And ఇది ఆ 10 పాయింట్స్ని మనం మైండ్లో పెట్టుకోవాలి, బై హార్ట్ చేయకూడదు. ఆ 10 పాయింట్స్ని పెట్టుకొని మనం దానికి స్టోరీ చెప్పాలి. That is what is being done here. So I would like you to look at these 10 points again, which we mentioned here very clearly. These 10 points should be part of your introduction because employer wants to know who you are. They already have your biodata. They already have your CV. And all these things are there maybe in that. And ఇంకొకటి చెప్తున్నాను, మీ దగ్గర మీ ఇంటర్వ్యూ తీసుకోవడానికి వచ్చే ముందు మీ CV మంచి చదివే వస్తాను నేను. మీకైనా బాగా నాకు తెలుసు మీ CVలో ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి. I want to know what is between that. నువ్వు అక్కడ ఏమేమి రాయలేదు అది నాకు కావాలి. 5 tips. Know what the job requires. మీ ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ ఆ జాబ్ తగ్గట్టుగా మీ ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ ఉండాలి. Do not repeat everything that is in your resume. ఆ రెజ్యూమే నీ రెజ్యూమే నా దగ్గర ఉంది, అదే సేమ్ రిపీట్ చేయకు. దాంట్లో ఏమేమి లేదు అది కూడా చెప్పు, నాకు స్టోరీ కావాలి. Talk about things that are appropriate for the job or that position, not general. నువ్వు ఇంట్లో ఏమేమి తింటావు నాకెందుకు, ఆ జాబ్కి ఏమేమి కావాలి దాని తగ్గట్టుగా డైలాగ్ చేయి. Remember, introduction is not storytelling. You should finish in 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes introduction. If anybody says, tell me something about yourself or introduce yourself or please tell me something more about you, 2 minutes. వాళ్ళకి ఇంకా కావాలంటే వాళ్ళు అడుగుతారు. Talk confidently with conviction. Do not by heart. Remember this again. ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ ఎలా చేస్తావు అవతల వాళ్ళకి ఈజీ తెలిసిపోద్ది. నువ్వు దానికి బై హార్ట్ చేసుకుని కడగడ అంటున్నావా, లేకపోతే నువ్వు పాయింట్స్ని తీసుకొని స్టోరీగా చెప్తున్నావా. ఎవ్రీబడి లవ్స్ అ గుడ్ స్టోరీ టెల్లర్. యువర్ ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ షుడ్ బి అ స్టోరీ బికాస్ ఇట్స్ అబౌట్ యూ. నీ ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ నువ్వు కాకుండా ఇంకెవరు చెప్పలేదు, నువ్వే చెప్పాలి. And these introduction stages that we have, of course, we have preparation for the interaction, performance, and proceeding afterwards. ఈ 3 stages మనం ఎక్కడైనా పోవచ్చు. Remember, for the performance, we have to prepare. And if you don't prepare, it means you are preparing to fail. Let's take a T20 match. T20 World Cup వస్తుంది, లేకపోతే ఛాంపియన్స్ ట్రోఫీ వస్తుంది. Teams are getting prepared from when? 4-5 years back. Prepare చేస్తున్నారు. They are getting ready for World Cups. They are getting ready for Champions Trophy, etc. And if you see, the match will not even be for 4 hours. The final match. ఆ ఫైనల్ 4-hour మ్యాచ్కి 4 years, 3 years ముందు నుంచి ప్రిపరేషన్ చేస్తారు. If you do not prepare, you are preparing to fail. And how do you prepare? Again, I will spend just a little time in understanding this. Who is the employer? Who is the company? What are the ethics? వాళ్ళకి బ్రాంచెస్ ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి, ఎన్ని ఎంప్లాయీస్ ఉన్నారు, అది తెలుసుకోవాలి. బికాస్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ వీ మేక్ ద బిగ్గెస్ట్ మిస్టేక్ ఇన్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్. నేను ఇంటర్వ్యూకి వెళ్తున్నాను సార్, అక్కడ కంపెనీ వాళ్ళు నాకు సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తారు. రాంగ్. వాట్ ఈస్ అన్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ? An interview is an interaction wherein company decides whether to select you. That's only one side of the story. You also decide whether to select the company and join there, yes or no. That's also another story. And that's why you need to do this homework. ఈ జాబ్ నాకు సక్సెస్ఫుల్ అవుతుందా? నేను అప్లై చేస్తాను, నాకు దొరికిపోవచ్చు, కానీ దొరికిపోయిన తర్వాత will I be happy? And of course then preparing the resume. Understanding the employer, of course, కంపెనీ హిస్టరీ ఏంటి, విజన్ ఏంటి, మిషన్ ఏంటి, అది నా వాల్యూస్కి మ్యాచ్ అవుతున్నాయా? వాట్ ఈస్ ద కరెంట్ స్కోప్? వాట్ ఆర్ దే డూయింగ్? వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ బిజినెసెస్ ఆర్ దే డూయింగ్? వాట్ ఆర్ ద ప్రాజెక్ట్స్? వాట్ ఆర్ ద ఇంపార్టెంట్ బిగ్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ దే ఆర్ డూయింగ్? అండ్ ఎనీ గుడ్ న్యూస్ ఆర్ బ్యాడ్ న్యూస్ అబౌట్ ద కంపెనీ ఇన్ ద లాస్ట్ ఫ్యూ మంత్స్ ఆర్ ఇన్ ద లాస్ట్ ఇయర్, అది నేను తెలుసుకోవాలి. వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ జాబ్స్? Remember, every job vacancy will have a job description. Most of the times, చాలా మటుకు సార్లు మనం వేకెన్సీ చూస్తాం, డెవలపర్ వెరీ గుడ్, టిక్ 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 టిక్, ఫుల్ స్టాక్ కావాలి, దాని కింద జాబ్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్ మనం చదవం. దాంట్లో ఉండొచ్చు, ఎంప్లాయీస్ మే బీ విల్లింగ్ టు వర్క్ ఎట్ ఎనీ బ్రాంచెస్ అసైన్ టు దెమ్. Employees should be given all kinds of shifts, all kinds of timings, and they should be willing to work. అవన్నీ చదవం. దాని తర్వాత జాబ్ వచ్చి తీసుకుంటాము. ఇప్పుడు మా ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇస్తున్నాను, నా ఇల్లు బంజారాహిల్స్లో ఉంది, అండ్ దే కాల్డ్ మీ టు ద జూబ్లీహిల్స్ ఆఫీస్ ఫర్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ. సెలెక్ట్ అయిపోయింది. ఫస్ట్ డే రిపోర్టింగ్ జూబ్లీహిల్స్కి వెళ్ళిపోయాం. నెక్స్ట్ డే you go to 𝗹𝗶𝗸 branch అని చెప్పారు. From next day you need to report to 𝗹𝗶 branch. షాక్ అయిపోయాను, ఇదేంటి? అరే సార్, వీ హ్యావ్ ఆల్రెడీ టోల్డ్ యూ ఇన్ యువర్ జాయినింగ్ టైం, నువ్వు సైన్ చేసావు, నువ్వు అక్కడ రాసి ఉంది, జాబ్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్లో ఉంది దట్ యూ కెన్ బి పోస్టెడ్ ఎనీ టైమ్ టు ఎనీ బ్రాంచ్. అయ్యో సార్, నాకు ఎవరు చెప్పలేదు. ఎందుకు చెప్తారు? అది ఆల్రెడీ ఇస్ దేర్. కంపెనీ కెన్ పోస్ట్ యూ ఎనీవేర్. సో అండర్స్టాండ్ ద జాబ్ ప్రొఫైల్. ఈజ్ మై స్కిల్ సెట్? నా దగ్గర స్కిల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, కానీ ఆ స్కిల్స్ ఆ జాబ్కి సరిపోతుందా? ఆలోచించండి. వన్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ దట్ ఐ లైక్ టు డ్రా యువర్ అటెన్షన్ టు. ఇప్పుడు ఈ ప్యాకెట్స్ ఉన్నాయి, 3 ప్యాకెట్లు ఉన్నాయి. ఒక ప్యాకెట్ తీసుకోవాలి మీరు. ఎన్ని ప్రిఫర్? ఏ ప్యాకెట్ సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తారు? ఈజ్ ఇట్ ప్యాకేజ్ ఏ, ప్యాకేజ్ బి ఆర్ ప్యాకేజ్ సి? 90% of you, I'm sure, will choose package A. Why? Because it is neatly packed. దాంట్లో ఏమి లోపల ఉంటుంది మనకు తెలియదు. కానీ బి అయితే అస్సలు తీసుకోము. ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళు ఏమో ఉండొచ్చు, కానీ అది సరిగ్గా వాళ్ళు టైంలీ తీసుకోలేదు, దానికి ప్యాక్ చేయడానికి చెత్తలాగా కట్టించారు అంతే. సిమిలర్లీ ప్యాకేజ్ సి ఓకే, కానీ సరిగ్గా ప్యాకేజ్ లేదు, ప్రొఫెషనల్ హ్యాండిల్ చేయలేదు. And this is what your resume is. The better you package yourself, the better you're shortlisted. Remember, these days, one vacancy ki 2,000, 3,000 applications వస్తున్నాయి. అలాంటప్పుడు నీ అప్లికేషన్ ఎందుకు తీసుకోవాలి? Of course, now we can say we are applying online, and that's fine. But many times you have to submit your resume. And if you submit your resume, ఇన్ని applications ఉన్నాయి, 2 vacancies ఉన్నాయి. If I am selecting, if it's not packaged properly, I will throw it aside. And remember the line that's very at the bottom. The resume gets you the interview. నీకు ఇంటర్వ్యూ రావాలంటే ఆ రెజ్యూమే ఉండాలి. దాని తర్వాత interview will get you the job. I'm not going to spend time on this, but the difference between a CV and a resume is that it's more longer, because as you gain in experience, then you have to mention about your jobs, etc. But for you, a resume is more than enough. It's a summary of your academics and work history. No, resume is you. It's a marketing brochure. Remember, it's going to talk about you. It makes the first impression about you. ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు అప్లై చేసావు జాబ్కి, నీ ఫోటో ఉండొచ్చు దాని మీద, కానీ నీ ఫోటోకి నీకు సంబంధం ఉండొచ్చా? లేదు. బట్ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ సీయింగ్ దేర్, దట్ రెజ్యూమే, ఫర్ మీ దట్ రెజ్యూమే ఇస్ యూ. It helps me organize my thoughts, highlights the remaining important things about me. And ఆ రెజ్యూమే చూస్తే ఇన్ని పిలవాలి కంపల్సరీ అని నా మైండ్లో ఇమీడియట్ రావాలి. అండ్ of course, if I have to call you for interview, which means I have to make some investment in having somebody to interview you, some arrangement for time, some arrangement for transportation, దానికి జస్టిఫై చేయాలంటే మీ రెజ్యూమే ఉండాలి, జస్టిఫికేషన్ పాయింట్. What is resume essentials? Personal details, career objectives, ఇవన్నీ I'm sure all of you have it. If you don't have it, make it a first time immediately to get your resume ready, because these are simple things. Today you have a lot of help, templates ఉన్నాయి online లో. You can refer to any of the templates and build your resume. But you have to have all these things: career objectives, your educational qualifications, professional experience, technical qualifications, skills, achievements, and references. Which is the most important? Your career objective, not only your name, because your career objective is the first thing that appears in your CV. It's a heading statement, 2 or 3 sentences long, and remember, it should be customized as per the job, should be very specific about your skills, talk about what you can contribute. నీ దగ్గర స్కిల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, నీకేం కావాలి నీకు తెలుసు కంపెనీ నుంచి, కానీ నువ్వు నీకేం కావాలి గురించి మాట్లాడితే అవతల వాళ్ళ పార్టీకి అరే వస్తున్నాడు, ఇటు తీసుకోవడానికే వస్తున్నాడు, ఇవ్వడానికి రావట్లేదు. ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి అ గుడ్ గివ్ అండ్ టేక్. సో ఐ హ్యావ్ స్కిల్స్ విచ్ ఐ కెన్ యూస్ టు ద డెవలప్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ద కంపెనీ, అండ్ ఆల్సో using the leverage of the company's expertise, I'd like to learn more and more skills, and I'd like to grow in the company, and also like to explore the opportunity of working overseas and in different other countries to enhance my knowledge. So it's a two-way thing. I want to use my knowledge to contribute to the company, and I also want to leverage the company's expertise so that I can grow. Talk about the long-term picture. See, there are some things. For example, if I want to make a good career objective statement, there are some, this is the job description. Job description ఇలా ఉంటుంది: processing claims, handling incoming calls, making outgoing calls, and approximately blah 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 ఇలా ఉంటుంది. దాని నుంచి ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్స్ నేను తీసుకొని I write it down, and if you can see what's appearing in your screen in red is the important points and the things that are required for this particular job. Now, processing claims, handling incoming calls, making outgoing calls, understanding the procedures, making decisions, input data, solving customer issues, commitment to customer satisfaction. Now, these are the skills that are required for this statement, for this job. So, if I have to make a career objective statement, look in the blue, I have changed and put all these points, which include some of my strengths, and I am converting it into a career objective statement. A quick learner with good communication skills, strong problem solving and decision making ability, and attention to detail, I am seeking a rewarding career in the BPO sector to contribute continually to customer satisfaction in accordance with professional standards and procedures established by the company. This is another one, but I think you can understand that what you need to do. Basically, a job description nunchi strengths తీసుకొని, ఆ పాయింట్స్ తీసుకొని, నీ స్ట్రెంగ్స్తో కలిపి ఆ జాబ్కి ఏమేమి కావాలి, దానికి తగ్గట్టుగా ఒక కెరియర్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ స్టేట్మెంట్ మనం తయారు చేసుకోవాలి. Remember, if I say the first one, to enhance my educational and professional skills in a stable and dynamic workplace. అది చూస్తే నేను తీసుకోవడానికి వస్తున్నాను, ఇవ్వడానికి రావట్లేదు ఆ కంపెనీలో. And you may not get the job. Remember this, you may not get the job. Okay, I'll touch upon few things again. Customization regarding the job description, your alignment, these are simple things. Resume lo formatting చాలా important. Don't use any other size except A4. Use only some Times Roman, Arial, Verdana, Calibri. Don't use fancy scripts. Use only 12 points, and for headings use only 14, 18. Use consistent bullet points. ఇవన్నీ కామన్ పాయింట్స్, కానీ స్టిల్ ఇఫ్ యూ సీ ద నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ రెజ్యూమేస్ విచ్ కమ్ విత్ ఫ్యాన్సీ బార్డరింగ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్, బార్డర్స్ వస్తాయి, ఇవన్నీ వస్తాయి. సో ఐఎమ్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ టు స్పెండ్ టైమ్ ఆన్ దిస్. ఐ అండర్స్టాండ్ దట్ యూ నో ఇట్. సో we'll quickly move to the next one. So if you see, these are some of the tables that you may need to mention your education, specialization, etc., etc. Power words. Used words like achieved, accomplished, done, designed, scored, facilitated. These are power words to use in your resume. Again, choose which one is best for you, your chronological resume, or if you want to use a functional resume. But for you, as a fresher, chronological resume is the best. Cover letter, depending on the job description, talk about what makes you apply for this job. Why are you applying for the job, and what would you look for in this company? Another part, మనం ఇంటర్వ్యూకి వెళ్తాం, మనం మాట్లాడతాం, డిస్కషన్ జరుగుతుంది, CV ఉంది, అన్నీ ఉన్నాయి. కానీ దాని మధ్యలో ఏం జరుగుతుంది? నువ్వు చెప్పకుండా, నువ్వు మాట్లాడకుండా ఇంటర్వ్యూవర్తో 100 మాటలు చెప్తావు. And that part of science is called body language. Body language is a language which all of us speak. And it means speaking a language of 1,000,000 words without opening my mouth. Do you? మనం కూర్చున్నప్పుడు ఫిజిట్ చేస్తామా? టేర్ని ఊపుతున్నావా? Do I keep on touching my face? Do I keep on clasping my hands? Am I biting my nails? Am I breaking my knuckles? Am I stammering? Am I playing with my clothes? Am I breathing hard? These are signs of nervousness. And these can be interpreted by any interviewer at any point of time. For example, suppose interviewer is asking you about your last project, and while you're talking about నా ప్రాజెక్ట్ గురించి చెప్తున్నప్పుడు ఇట్లా చెప్పి ఎస్ సార్ ఇట్లా అయిందంటే, immediately interviewer knows that you are lying. Immediately interviewer knows that you are not telling him the complete truth about that project, because your body language immediately indicates that you're covering up your mouth, you're trying to hide your face from them while you're talking about that topic. It displays nervousness, it displays stress, and it also tells the interviewer, I need to investigate this matter. How do you sit? How do you approach? How do you walk into the interview room? How do you interact? All these are small things, but they play a major role. Are you going to sit in the like the people in the top floor, in the top chair, top picture? The right, extreme right, lower bottom one is the correct posture that you will adapt. Legs firmly to the floor, body upright, chest out, arms in the right position, and preferably on your legs so that you avoid fidgeting around with everything else. You see the attire, the things that you need to wear for an interview. formal clothing, not something that's jazzy, no shiny clothes. Remember, how you talk makes the difference. Some more correct wear, ethnic, professional. Avoid party wear. Parties wear are for parties. And what kind of situations, how do we need to sit? Remember, when we put our hands down on our legs, looking forward, openness. If we fold our hands and sit like this, or if we sit, it tells us 1,000 things about you which you will not want to know. See, this is the appropriate way to sit for an interview or during an interview also. What do you do with your hands? Keep your hands visible in sight of everybody. Don't keep it under the table. And use your hands to communicate, like gestures, thinking, etc. Avoid fidgeting with your hands. Avoid touching your face, your hair, etc. These are high-powered poses, but some of them we cannot execute. Of course, you can't sit like this in an interview. But these poses come by way of achievement. You will find that only very senior positions, CEOs, owners, or very high managers take these poses. It comes automatically by virtue of their responsibility. If you look at these, all of them are in a low power poses because maybe they made a mistake. And these are not bad poses. Suppose, నేను ఎంత పెద్ద మనిషి అయినా కూడా నేను తప్పని చేస్తే నేను లో పవర్ పోజ్ వెళ్ళి నేను క్షమాపణ అడిగితే ఏం తప్పులేదు దాంట్లో. So these poses are used for different situations. Look at this, very important. And why I'm saying this is not data from me, this is from the HR. 67% of hiring managers say the lack of eye contact is the biggest mistake and biggest cause of rejection. Fact number 2. Technical round అయిన తర్వాత అంటే టెక్నికల్ రౌండ్ క్లియర్ చేశారు, విచ్ మీన్స్ దే ఆర్ వెరీ గుడ్ ఇన్ ద టెక్నికల్ స్కిల్స్. టెక్నికల్ రౌండ్ అయిన తర్వాత ప్రతి 3 క్యాండిడేట్స్లో 1 క్యాండిడేట్ విల్ నాట్ మూవ్ ఫర్దర్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఇంప్రాపర్ ఐ కాంటాక్ట్. సార్, మై నేమ్ ఇస్ సౌజన్య, ఐఎమ్ ఫ్రమ్ వరంగల్. నువ్వు ఎవరితో మాట్లాడుతున్నావు, ఎవరితో చేస్తున్నావు? 25% of candidates or 26% of candidates get rejected because they fidget too much. They will be doing something or the other. వాళ్ళు షర్ట్ బట్టలతో లేకపోతే డ్రెస్తో ఏమైనా చేసుకుంటూ ఉంటారు, లేకపోతే విత్ ద హెయిర్. It indicates nervousness. It indicates this person is not speaking the truth. 39%, nearly 40% of interviewers get actually disappointed when you don't smile. Smile is God's gift. In fact, the face has the most number of muscles in the human body which you can express to show various expressions. Kani kontamandi itlane untaru. They don't express themselves at all. And interviewers are not happy. They want to see you smile. And remember, a smile can brighten up everybody's day. Who doesn't like a good smile? Shaking your hands. The way you come and the way you shake hands with people, 1% will reject people who give them a weak handshake. Kontamandi itlane chestaru. I guarantee you, they will reject you. They want people who give a firm handshake. Ante gatti kaadu, just normal firm handshake. Of course, these days we are talking of remote recruitments, etc. And when we talk of remote recruitments, especially started with the COVID-లో ఒక్కసారి కూడా మీకు కలవలేదు. వాళ్ళు ఇంట్లో వచ్చి through remote they've interviewed you through online process, and even offer letters are delivered. You started work also. After 2 years, you get to meet them. So these are things that are happening in the real world today, and it can happen anytime. So remember, there are 2 ways. One is one-way interview, and the other is 2-way, which is a video call. Now, it can be audio or video or combination of both. We have to be prepared for both. Remember, it's used for final screening sometimes. Sometimes it's used for initial screenings. Why synchronous? Synchronous means on both times. They ask you questions, you can ask questions, and it's almost like a real time. But they also want to make sure that your angles are, your camera is placed at certain angles to ensure that nobody is helping you, etc., etc. Remember, if you have somebody helping you, you will be caught. How to overcome some challenges during these interviews? First thing is, while they got a tool untadi, a platform untadi, log in a little earlier, get familiar, because sometimes if you don't know how to operate through the system, it will delay your interview and you may lose a chance. Eye contact is very important in the video. You have to look into the camera or look into the direction, and then keep your hands free. You can use good headphones, good quality mic. Check your audio, video before everything. So many times, good candidates are lost because online interview undi, while ready అయిపోయారు, suddenly phone battery is down. Suddenly phone mic is not working, or suddenly your laptop is not charged. Suddenly current is not there. Suddenly disturbance is coming from the neighbor's dog. Internet connection is good. These days, internet is very cheap. It's very available for everybody. And we cannot make excuses and say, sir, my connection is not good. I'm unable to. Nobody wants to, listen to all that. If your internet connection is not good, go to maybe a cafe, take a private space, attend the interview there, or go to a friend's place, something. Lighting, very important. Sit in a bright place. It gives confidence to the interviewer. They also want to see what you're doing. They want to see your face clearly. Keep all the other electronic communications, your phone, etc., is far away, not to disturb. Keep it on silent mode. Be professional in your dressing. Because the more professional you are, the more professional you will be in your dialogue. Silence in the background. Of course, sometimes when we are taking calls or taking things from our home, some noises we cannot prevent. Like for example, suddenly the neighbor's dog starts to bark. We cannot do anything. But we have to at least try to do our best, whatever we can. Keep everything, what you require, nearby, your pen, your reference books, etc., etc. Clean background. Don't put fancy posters behind you. And don't disconnect before the interviewer does. Keep it open. Let the discussion. Remember, there are some exercises for you. I'm just going to leave it open. In your career objective statement, which is most effective? You decide. Which of the following statements is true about your self-introduction? Talk about the qualities that are not visible in your resume. Which of the following should be part of your introduction as an interview? All of them, right? Which of the following is a false statement? Interview is about practicing the answers. Interview preparation takes time. Interview preparation depends only on resume building. It's all about body language. Answer is C. It's not only on resume building. Resume building is only part of it. Which of the following is true about asynchronous interviews? We can do it at our leisure. Of course, interview can cross-question you. No. If it's a one-way interview, how can the interviewer cross-question you? Which is the best practice for virtual video interviews? Sit behind the light source. Hold the phone in your hand to avoid disturbances. Have a backup for internet connectivity, and sit casually because the interviewer cannot see you anyway. You have to understand which is the best practice. Hold the phone in the hand. And with that, I'd like to pause and keep it open for questions. Anything that is regarding task, regarding what we do, regarding the help that we can offer to you, number one. Number two, anything that you'd like to know more about what the employer's expectations are. Because today, I want to end with this note, that employers' expectations are beyond what you can understand. When I'm saying this, don't get me wrong, we try as much as we can. But because of this age, that everything is changing so rapidly, employer wants more from you. We know what we are. But when the employer looks at our resume and looks at the CV, the employer sees a potential leader. The employer sees a potential candidate that's going to grow in their organization. And they want to know, what can you do more? They want to see what is not there in that resume. And that's what we need to continuously keep understanding and evolving with the question, what does this employer who I am going to interact with, what do they want? Why should I be the only one they should consider? If I have those answers to myself, am I worth the investment? I can guarantee you, if you have those answers, you are well on your way to landing yourself a good job. But if not, it's not too late. Let's get prepared with them. Let's understand what is special about me, what is special about myself, and what is special about who I am. What is my direction? What is the path that I am going to take? Why have I chosen this field? If I have to choose from 10 companies, why am I choosing this one company? What do I know about this company that makes me decide that this is the company I want to work for? If I decide that I have to join this company, where do I see myself in the next 2, 5, 10 years? If I have answers for them, then I am well on my way to getting a job. If I don't, I need to find answers, and I need to understand that yes, I need to work hard and find solutions and find answers, because the marketplace is getting tougher and the marketplace is getting hotter. On that note, thank you for joining me, and it's been a pleasure to have this session with you. I'm open for all the questions, and I hope you found this session alive and interactive. And if there's anything that I can do more to help you, I'll be glad. Thank you very much.